We're live.
Here we go.
Just over 24 hours removed from that game, brother, which you didn't get to watch entirely live. Is that right? Can you confirm?
Yeah, that is correct. Unfortunately, I had to coach and miss out on the live antics of the game. But I got to see up until the second quarter, half midway through, about 10-minute mark, had to leave. Then luckily, not luckily, it was very unfortunate, but the game before us, a player had severely dislocated her ankle, which meant our game got delayed. So I had all the boys in the room because our game was delayed about an hour, and we got to watch the last 5 minutes all together, all the game. And surprisingly, our footy club champs, there's a lot of North supporters, even in the junior club. So I was glad at least I got to see the last 5 minutes from about when Howe kicked that goal. So I was very up and about. Missed the last 30 seconds because I had to go talk to the umpire. But hey, it's better than seeing nothing. So,
brother, you know what? It's probably better you didn't see the last 30 seconds because that was the most gut-wrenching moment of the game when Zach Fisher had that ball in the air. You heard the crowd screaming as if it was going over the line and was going through the goals. I was like, fuck. But then thankfully it fell short and went just wide of the two big sticks, brother. So the goal umpire did these ones. He did these ones, you know?
Yeah, I rewatched the game this afternoon as soon as I got back from work, put it on straight away so I could start reviewing the game for today. But even watching it back, even though I knew the result, it almost looked like a goal, and I could just imagine being live, and everyone watching that would have been going absolutely bonkers.
Yes, brother. Yes, the heart is still recovering and is always in recovery mode when you support the Collingwood Football Club since 2022. Who have you got in the chat, brother? Boomer, go Pies. What's going on? Still can't believe we won. We can't believe it either. Haters, Nick Dacos is overrated, weak as piss. Now all of a sudden he's the leading contested ball getter in the league. Haters, the North coach should be sacked for taking the tag off in that last quarter and blowing a 54-point lead. Yeah. Well, haters, Nick Dacos also had 7 touches and 2 goals in the third quarter while he was still getting tagged. So maybe sit on one. Sit on one, ladies and gentlemen.
That being said, I felt like Phillips kind of he did come back onto him and play half back on him, but he was still in the midfield a little bit as well. So they should have just left Phillips on him regardless of where Dacos was, even when he was, and just following him off. Like, mate, like when Nick Dacos goes for a sub and has time on the bench, that's when you're having your break, right? Like,
yeah,
that makes sense because that completely sliced open the game, didn't it? Like, it was great.
Heart attack, man. Fuck. Lily says North, sad face. Sad face. Even sad me, face. All the people data come back. I threw my phone at the car door. And yes, you also FaceTimed me while you were crying after the game yesterday. So don't forget to mention that one as well, Dad. Evening, gents. Jimbo, what's going on? Big Kev, thanks for joining the fan cam yesterday. Legend. I like this statement, brother.
54 is not enough. Unreal.
Are you guys happy that we have the bye? Probably. I think that's
fair. Look, I'm happy we have the bye because we get some people back after the bye. But what am I going to watch this weekend? Yeah, I can watch some other games, but my God, I love watching a Collingwood side cut about. And yeah, even Richmond's got the bye. I don't mind watching Richmond because the missus goes for them. But yeah, they've got the bye, so I don't know what I want to do in the weekend, champ.
Do the VFL play this weekend? Can we get a fact check on that? Let me pull that up quickly. Surely Collingwood have a game in the VFL. That'd be interesting to see who plays through there. Matches, round 13. Nah, we got the bye as well. Have you watched Crusher Crab? You could. It's my birthday, so I'll be enjoying that. Enjoy, Mello. Make sure you behave, okay? Okay, brother, let's have a look at the updated People's Champ tally and we'll explain what it is for those who haven't seen it yet. But if you want to explain it, brother, the floor is yours, man.
Yeah, well, Anthony's pulling up the visual. Essentially, you guys... No, I'm not seeing anything, champ. But you guys will... Huh?
Are you not seeing the people? Can you guys see it on your end? Let me just take
No,
it
I don't
off.
think it's. I can see the pie performance bottom left.
And then on the right.
My actually no, I see it now. My bad. I don't know
Okay.
what happened to my phone.
That's all right.
Yeah, sorry, that was a bit of a shambles on my end. But yeah, anyway, the People's Champ is voted by you guys. So at the end of each segment, you guys will give us our 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 votes, and then at the end of the year, we'll have the People's Champ Award, our version of the club BNF, voted by you guys. So started a little bit late since we've been doing the Pies performance, but better late than never. And at the moment, we've got Jack Crisp at the 1 spot, Nick Dacos 2, and so on. So that's the leaderboard at the end of the 2 rounds we've done it. So just to reinforce the fact that when we do throw over to you guys for the People's Champ Award, if we say 5 votes, only give us 5, right? Only the 1. Some of you guys get all excited and start giving us all the names. It's really hard for us to track because we're doing it live. So make sure if it's 5 votes, we could put Nick Dacos 5 votes, then only put him. Now, if you have, Nick Dacos as your 4, and we're asking for your 4 vote, there's no point saying Nick Dacos again because that does happen sometimes. He's ruled out. You know what I mean? So yeah. That's just something to note when we do the People's Champs Award.
Yeah, exactly. So that's that, as Caleb said, that's after these standings are as of post the Melbourne Demons game, and then at the end of the show, stick around, and then we'll all do the voting together to add to the People's Champ tally. Okay. So, brother, without a further ado, we've got 25 in the chat, so I think there's reason to go ahead and begin with the show. For those who are joining maybe for the first time here with can you use polls on YouTube streams to make it easy to count votes? Would love to do that. However, StreamYards and YouTube actually don't have that feature just yet, but we will like to do that at some point. Champs is in the chat. But yeah, for those who haven't joined this stream before, the pie performance is essentially Caleb and I giving a rating on every single Collingwood player's performance. And then once we've given our reasoning behind it, we ask you guys to kindly chime in and we all collectively give ratings, sometimes in agreement, sometimes in disagreement, but we overcome those adversities and we work through and we qualm it about and we fight like a married couple. We shake hands and we kiss each other on the cheek and we move on. Isn't that right, brother?
Yeah, exactly right.
Okay. I've got my notepad out, brother, so I'm not going to mess up the ratings this time. So I'm going to make sure I keep track on the agreed ratings, okay?
Let's go.
If you don't mind, I might take the floor, brother, initially.
Yep.
And let's put on this man because this man, I think we're going to have some healthy conversations about this guy. Mr. Charlie Dean, brother. Okay. So, guys, Charlie Dean, what do we know about him going into this game? We thought in the lesser games he did okay. We thought against more difficult opposition like the Bulldogs, he struggled. Like against Sydney, he struggled. Yes, he played on Sam Darcy, 6'9", and we know that story against the Dogs. But I think yesterday was a really good opportunity and I know we said before the game, brother, we said, it's against North, it's a lesser team, so how much can we take a positive performance out from a team against a team like this? Given the circumstances, I feel like we really got a good look at players like Charlie Dean, and we saw Charlie have 11 odd disposals, 2 intercept marks, and looked really clean with the ball and was willing to take the game on, which is what I love the most about Charlie Dean. His intercept marking probably isn't his number one feature in his game. I actually think, like I said, it's his ball use and his dare. And I think that's something we're going to see more and more as he becomes more comfortable with the ball. The more comfortable he becomes with the ball, the more commanding or demanding of the ball he will be, and the players will honor that request. I think, in my opinion, brother, I think that was given the circumstances, and for a lot of the players, I'm sure this will be the case. That was his best game this year. So for Charlie Dean, I want to give him 7.3.
Interesting. Well,
Actually,
just
no. Hold on. I'll give him a flat 7.
a flat 7. Yeah, that's kind of still a little high, but look, one thing I really took out of Charlie Dean's game on the weekend was his body positioning. Is what I think lets him down sometimes, especially playing on a tall role. And Mallow, I see a comment on there. He's suited for the third tall role, and I actually really agree with that statement a lot. I think if he can match up on a third tall, he provides a lot of versatility for us in the back line where you don't have someone else like a Maynard having to play a little bit taller. So I really think that's where the sweet spot is for him. And we saw that on the weekend, like when he matched up against Toby Pink, for example, it was very competitive, whereas like he was getting burnt. Toby Pink was burning like Darcy Moore up the ground and stuff like that. So I think that's where he excelled, and his body positioning really led him into those 2 intercept marks he did take on the weekend. He just, craftily bodied the man out and got the mark. And I like to see that because that was my biggest gripe with him. 7 champs, though, I don't think he was a 7. I think he was a little bit above average, and we give a 6 an average. So I think he would be like a 6.5. I would say for him in the schemes of things, I'd go a 6.5. Just slightly above an average game, but still good.
Charlie Dean, 6.5. Chat. So we've got T Mello 7, Magpie Lover 6, Comanche Basics 7. Breadstaff says he's Imagine 2.0. I disagree. 6.8, 6-ish. Charlie Dean is a champion. 6.5 it is, brother. Lock it in.
Lock it in.
I'm happy with that. I can live with that. I've also got your. Give me 1 second. I've got your. Sorry, brother. I've got your list as well. So let me just pop that up. Did you want to? Were you about to say something as well, lad?
No. I actually must have had him as a double up because I had him on my list as well. So that's why I was able to add those extra comments in there as well.
That's right, brother. We love to double dip, huh?
Yeah, exactly right.
Where are you? Moving on. Of course, your man.
Hey, the Braz. Well, where do I start with the Braz? Faced a lot of, personal issues throughout the week and last week as well, which he opened up about, which we found out post-game. So unfortunately, one of his close friends passed away there, which can always take a toll. So it was a good little speech I saw regarding that. I thought he had few good intercept marks, 17 disposals, 2 intercept marks for the game. But where he excelled, in the game was very late in the game. Like his last couple of efforts in the last 4 or 5 minutes of the game really stopped the rebound in North Melbourne, especially when they got out the wing. He was able to slow the game up, get a stoppage there. And then he also came across for a big spoil. I thought that was very elite. And that's what we've come to know about the Braz in his 200th game. He did get a lot of disposals just wheeling around the mark and given a handball, like a handball received. So he gets the handball. And then one thing was kind of my gripe with him on the weekend was him just booting the ball long, right, champ? Like we know he's got a big left foot, but sometimes he runs around from the man on the mark, gets the handball, which is like a pressure handball because he's not getting wide enough. And then he has to just jam the ball down the line. Regardless of that, though, I thought he was still a very good game, and I had him as a 7 out of 10, especially for those great efforts he had towards the end of the game, which really kind of cemented it for us.
Yeah, I thought, particularly towards the end of the game, the way he just throws himself at the contest without second guessing what the outcome might be.
It's like a disregard to his own health, right? Like he just sees the ball, I'm just going to run across, jump and spoil, seize the ball, get ball, do whatever I can to hold up the play.
He was a Brazzy 200 type of game, wasn't it, brother?
It was.
So you want to give the man a 7 on his
I
milestone
want to give
game?
him for a 7. I would love to give him a little bit more. You know how fond I am of him as a player, but I think 7 is within the right realm for the game for him.
All right. So 8 for the Bras, 7 for the Bras. Good little game. So much effort and defensive pressure. 7, 8 out of 10. His 1%ers are worth gold. Mick, 100%. Love his 1%ers. 8, fearless player. 7 it is. Locking in the Bras for a 7 out of 10 this week. Okay. And now, brother, I'm surprised you gave me this, man. Surprised. Was it against your will? A little bit against your will? Yeah.
Yeah. So my StreamYard's like freezing, like the chat's freezing and stuff. So I might be a little bit off today. If that's yeah, but we'll work.
That's right. What I might do is for you, when yours pop up, I'll read out the name for you as well. But yeah, so with IQ, 12 disposals, 0 intercept marks. But watching the game live, I thought he really stood up in the midst of the high octane environment that was playing at Marvel Stadium under the roof. Particularly, again, in big moments in that second half. I thought he was clean under the pump when the ball was at ground level in Collingwood's defensive half and was important in our defensive chains linking up for scoring opportunities. Where you have four score involvements. And I mentioned, brother, I'm not sure if you remember, but I mentioned before the game, Collingwood's pass mark for the team. We needed to see Collingwood score more goals from defensive half chains. We averaged 40 last year. We are well below that for the year thus far. I think we're roughly at 29. We scored 63 in the game yesterday alone, 10 goals, 3 from that score source. And Isaac Quaynor was a part of the big reason why we're able to link up. And I'm like, the stats don't ring out. I reckon I can't give him anything more than a 6.5, but I just want to give him his flowers for being an important part in rebounding the ball for Collingwood.
Yeah. I thought his pace on the ball was quite good on the weekend. Like we've come to expect, he does run very quick. What I noticed from him was, like you're saying, he's probably like that first or second ball receiver that was linking out of the back line. And, even though the stat line doesn't jump out, he was playing a good role in that aspect. And, Champs, to your point regarding scoring sources from the back half, in the last 5 games prior to North Melbourne on the weekend, we were second last. In the last 5 games. So that just proves that, we've kind of shifted away from that. But on the weekend, we proved that we can still do it and transition the ball very well.
Yep. And call it North Melbourne, call it what you want. But at the end of the day, they're an AFL team and anyone can beat anyone on their day. And to score 63 points from defensive half is an incredible feat. So, brother, do you have any issues with the 6.5 for the man?
No, I agree with a 6.5.
Yeah. Let's see what everyone else. 6.5 says Mick. 7.5 Comanche basically. He was huge in the last quarter. And so many players were. To come back from 54 points, you're going to have a lot of amazing last quarter performances, right, brother? Was exactly great right. In the clinches. How do you guys pick the players for the video? How do you mean, Matt? So as far as assigning players, either Caleb or myself will just delegate an allotment of players from the game and we'll just share the load. We'll have an equal amount of defenders, an equal amount of midfielders, and so on and so forth. So I hope that's the question you're asking.
Yeah. What I do when I do it with you, Champs, I just go where we're listed. You go your back pocket, middle, and we just even it out that way. And then so we can really identify and like have a real look at who's doing the things and maybe miss some things that you guys might not be seeing, like little small things because we're paying particular attention to said players.
Yeah. So that's how we, I guess, create the synergy for this show. Brother, I've got Darcy Moore on the screen for you.
Yeah, Darcy Moore. So where do I start? Well, I'll start with the stat line. 11 disposals, 90% disposal efficiency, 9 spoils, right? You read that out, champ. You're like, fuck, he probably had a good game, right? Well, even though he led by 9 spoils, he was better, foremost than anyone else on the ground. Larky was way too quick for him in the first quarter, pretty much resulting in those 4 goals he kicked in the first term. Luckily, Larky kind of slowed down and like didn't have the same impact on the game, like he did in the first quarter. Because my God, I thought Larky was going to be in for a big performance, and he just looked too slow out there. Even what's his name? Burnt him on the wing.
Toby Pink.
Toby Pink burnt him, on the wing up the ground, right? Like, it was very evident that he was a little bit slow. He also gave that handball to Noble, which was way too high for him, which then resulted in a goal to North Melbourne. Very clutch late in the game. He had some good moments, and look, 9 spoils, and the way he comes across is great, but this is a subpar Darcy Moore performance, and we're just lucky Larky didn't continue to have that first quarter like he did. So subpar game, could have been a lot worse, did a lot better towards the end of the game, but it could have been late. Like, it could have been too late. We're lucky North Melbourne really kind of shut the bed. So I've given him, champ, a 5 out of 10.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that rating, a 5 out of 10. And you saw Fly McRae recognize the struggle in the matchup for Darcy Moore with Nick Larky. And I'll be honest, I thought it was going to be an entertaining matchup, but it seemed from the get-go, when the ball was moving quickly into North's forward line, Darcy Moore was nowhere near. He was chasing and sniffing Nick Larky's butt, and he couldn't get near him.
And he wasn't like just getting bet to the ball. Like, Larky had 2-3 steps on him. Every one of those goals he scored in the first quarter. So he just getting absolutely burnt, right? Like, we thought if Frampton was to go back, which he did, that was kind of what we were going to depict if Frampton and Larky were played on each other. But he was just too slow for him on the weekend, and that's why he gets a 5 out of 10, because the impact could have been even a lot worse than what it was, and it was pretty bad in that first quarter.
Yeah. I think there was something in the news about Darcy Moore maybe being injured. If anybody heard that, Dad messaged me. I'm not sure if he's in the chat, but he messaged me saying Darcy Moore was in the news at 6 or earlier today regarding a potential injury. But anyways, 5 out of 10. Hopefully we can see a different version of Darcy Moore. But I just want to add 0 intercept marks to the game, right?
Yeah, sorry, that's another point. Yeah, I had jotted down as well. So for Darcy Moore, 0 intercept marks. Last time we saw that from Darcy Moore was in the grand final, surprisingly enough. And then the time before the grand final was in round 4, 2022, when we played West Coast at Marvel, and they ended up beating us. And they were pretty dog shit at the time. So that's kind of like the performance where we kind of know to expect Darcy Moore to come across. And then to Matt Lee's point before, Larky has kicked 5 goals each time the last 2 times he's played us, and he had 4 on the weekend, which could have been a lot more dominating. So that's just to add to the point that maybe Larky just has your number. And as a defender, sometimes some forwards just have your number.
Yeah. Hey, Mick, went for scans, but club says nothing serious. Well, when you go for scans, it's got to be something. What was it regards to? His knee, hamstring? Anyways, hopefully this isn't something he's been carrying, and hopefully he can get over whatever it is. So Darcy Moore, a 5. Let's move on to the next. And I've got John Noble for this one. For me, I felt like watching the game, John Noble was largely unsighted. And then you look at the stat line, and it probably talks to that a little bit more. 8 disposals, 6 handballs. Out of the 8 disposals being 2 kicks. Not a whole lot of impact on the game, which is unusual because he's averaging close to I think it was 20 odd disposals per game this season. So it's a far cry from the amount of touches he has had, and the role he has is he's asked to have more of the ball and to rebound. In a game where we scored so many goals from defensive half, the fact that he wasn't quite a part of that was interesting to note. And brother, I think sometimes, man, like some players just have a limited impact and they go missing. They can't get near the ball, but it's just unusual for a halfback flanker like John Noble to do that. In saying that, I'm still going to have to give him a 5.
Yeah. Yeah. Like to give him a pass mark of a 6, we probably would have liked to see some more rebounding attacking plays, which you're alluding to. And yeah.
Nah,
Look,
brother,
didn't
fuck that. Fuck all that, man. I'm giving him a 4.
It's subpar game. Look, I don't mind. So 4's fine. Yeah. He was real fine on the weekend.
6 handballs as a halfback flanker. I don't know if I can give him anything more than that. So let's see. More disposals way off from recent years. 5 out of 10 had a quiet one. 3 out of 10, 3 out of 10, 3, 4.8. Does it come out after the bye? Oh, God. Okay. So, brother, let me tee up the next one for you. I reckon I bet you had fun with this one, brother. Mr. Jeremy Howe.
Well, my God, tale of two halves from Howe in terms of what he can provide to Collingwood defensively, which was excellent, and then what he can do and swing forward and still play an excellent game up forward as well. Like, it was very impressive. So let's go through it. He had the 14 disposals, he had the 1 goal, which was very clutch. But let's just jog our memory back to the start of the game. He had a good intercept mark. Then he also had that really good specky spoil. Would have loved to see him grab it, but still elite to get up that high and just thump the ball out of play. Sent it to Rosie. So that was elite to see. And then, the game isn't working. Frampton needs a swing in the back line. And then he comes in forward and just gives us so much, right? Like, he comes in, leads at the footy with intent, like gets up the ground and played a really, really good game, champ. Like, I thought, he kind of found that form that we've been wanting to see from him, especially when he had the opportunity to go forward. So I thought he was huge. Do I want to give him an 8? Do I want to give him to an 8.5? I had him down as an 8, and I'm going to stick with it because sometimes I change my mind when I get G'd up. Maybe it could go a little bit higher, but I'll stick with my guns because sometimes I get a little bit too excited and I change my vote, but I'll stick to an 8, champ. What do you reckon?
3 contested marks, 2 intercept marks, 1 goal, crucial goal at that to put Collingwood back in front at some point.
I know. And
I know. 8.1, brother. Can we give him an 8.1?
We'll give him an 8.1. I love the man.
And the man, I think he broke his nose or something as well in one of those contests. So give him an 8.
Yeah, that's when I was leaving, like, to go to coaching, and I saw him coming off with a blood nose. And I'm like, I just hope it's not him out for the game or whatever. And I just remember jumping in the car, turning on the radio and making sure he was going to come back on.
Yeah. Mick says 8, 7.5. 8 is right. We're going to 8.1. Josiah says 8.4.
Oh, perfect.
So no dilemmas in the chat just yet. Okay. We've run into no headways just yet. Where is my man? Rusty. Rusty shows he's still got it. And it took us a while to see a really good performance from Mr. Steel Sidebottom. We saw him have okay performances. We saw him have good performances relative to being in a new role in the halfback flank. I wouldn't say generally he had great performances. He was just did well relative to being thrown to the wolves, having never played halfback flank before. That first half, okay, he played okay, wasn't horrible. Again, his disposals were a bit shaky at times, which we're not typically accustomed to. But then Fly McRae at halftime says, he goes to Sidey, gives him a nudge and says, hey, mate, we're not gonna accept damage control. We're going to throw you in the middle because that's where you played your best footy for the most part of your career when you were younger. Can you show us what you got under the big lights? We're down by 48 points. What have you got? And what did he have? Well, the man had 23 disposals, 15 of them contested at 32% centre bounce attendances, which we know was for the most part the second half. 8 score involvements, 6 tackles. He had a shot on goal. If he kicked that left foot snap late in the game, we could be talking serious numbers. But it was just good to see after all the backlash and the conversation revolving Steel Sidebottom's name for Steel to have a performance like that. And player rating wise, Steel hasn't had a rating like that. And we're looking at, so he hasn't had a rating like that since 2023, Anzac Day versus Essendon, where he had 30 disposals and a goal, player rating wise. So it's been a long while since he's had a game like that. What do I give him in the grand context of the game? Because that's important to consider, because he was fucking important. I think he was a little bit better than still Jeremy Howe, in my opinion, given the impact he had in the middle where we were getting butchered and murdered. I want to give Steel Sidebottom, and he was the 3rd highest rated player in the field, okay? Bear that in mind. 8.3.
8.3. Look, you look at it, he had 8 score involvements, and he was 3rd most for contested possessions on the ground with 15 for the day. And like you're saying, like first half is a little bit quiet, but once he had his opportunity in the middle, without him being in there, I don't think we come back and claw that one back. I think he provided a lot of maturity in there as well in the gut. So Howe was an 8.1. Well, I'd be happy with an 8.2.
Fuck.
What do you reckon?
You don't want to give me that 8.3, brother?
Nah, I just thought I'd bust your balls a little bit.
You just fucking with me, huh?
Yeah. 75, man.
I thought you were trying to frank me there, man. So, Rangatang K going. It says 8.6 for Sidey. Luke says huge last quarter, 7 out of 10. First half, 5. Second half, 8. So 6.5. Fuck. I can't agree with you on that one, Matt. 7.5, 8.5. He pops up with a great shift every 4 weeks. I hope he has, brother. My question, because obviously we missed you on the post game show.
Yeah,
and I'll extend this conversation out to the chat as well. How much more will we get to see Steel Sidebottom feature in the middle when we get, let's say, DeGoey and Pendlebury at the very least, when we get them back in? Are we going to see more Steel Sidebottom? And if you had to guess, give us a percentage of centre bounce attendances that you'd like to see Steel featuring.
Look, it is one game, so I'm not going to get overly excited. It also comes with, where's the goalie going to come when he comes back in the squad? Like, do we leave him more in the forward line and, decide he then come in and he will get more centre bounce attendances? I'm not too sure. I think he probably... It is hard. Look, I'd like to see him based off the small sample size we had. I'm going with at least about 20%, and I think you probably wouldn't see it much higher than that when you have, Nick Dacos, Jack Crisp, Pendles, DeGoey, potential likes of
Tom Mitchell, Josh Dacos.
Tom Mitchell, Josh Dacos has been running. Bo's been running in and did a good job on the weekend on LDU when he had to come in. There is a lot of guys that can play midfield. So look, I'd like to see like 20% if he can keep those performances up. I reckon he probably just goes back to the wing if I was to put any money on it. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. A lot of variables to consider.
Yeah, a lot of variables. And my biggest thing is, the guy coming back from injury, groin related, which we know he's had past problems with the pass, and we know how demanding the midfielder and how explosive we've come to know him in the midfield. Do we kind of want to risk that and maybe just let less load? I'm going to say less load and leave him in the forward line. So that's everything that's going to factor into where does Sidey play, which is a very long-winded answer, champ. I know, but it's a one that needs to be talked about.
You took me to fucking Greece and back just then, brother.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah. Well, We've been. Hopefully, we go back again. But what do I want to say about that? Just to finish on that note, we're still side bottom. I think at least against Gold Coast, even if the go comes back in, as you said, because of his lack of conditioning, and we don't want to jump the gun with the Jordan Goey, I'll give you a number. I reckon I wouldn't be
I said
surprised.
20.
Would you say 20?
I said 20.
I'll say 30. I want to see 30 from Steele. And then find the ball and then build your game on the wing, on the outside with that confidence, winning the ball on the inside initially. So we'll see. It'll be an interesting one. At the very least, at the very, very least, at least we know Steele Sidebottom can still do a job if needed in the midfield when shit's not going right.
Exactly right.
And the man he came in for, where is he? Finlay McRae, subbed at halftime, brother.
Yeah. Wow. Look, where do I start? He gets subbed off at halftime, and it ended up being a very wise move that allowed Reef McInnes to come on. I really wanted Finlay to come in and perform the way he was at VFL level. And we're wondering is having these such big performances at the start of the year that he wasn't getting his opportunity. And I think we kind of realized on the weekend why that is the case. Unfortunately, he just can't cut the mustard when shit gets tough. And my God, like some of his disposal efficiencies, I see why your brother fucking smashed his TV because he was driving me up the wall. And look, I don't want to hate on a guy. Like I'm sure he's a nice bloke and whatever, but 33 disposal efficiency, not what you want from a center. His intercept mark out of the back line, which has resulted into a straight turnover. Champ, fuck, he can get a 2 out of 10. Like I've kind of lost my patience with him, and I really wanted him to do better. You could probably even argue lower than that, but give him 110. Get 1 out of 10. He's had his opopportunities. 1 out of 10. I'm done. I really like him.
Lowest rated.
That will be our lowest rated
performance.
It is, and normally we don't give a if someone gets subbed out or a rating there, but I just think he just wasn't up to the mustard on the weekend, and I'm still so angry over that kick he had out of the back line that resulted in a direct turnover. So look, I don't see him coming back into the squad after the bye. And I don't know if we're going to get much value if we try trading for anyone. And yeah, we'll just have to wait and see.
It's such a shame because you know he means well. You can tell he means well. He wears his heart on his sleeve. My issue is his clearances have no value because of the way or where the ball goes. It's really just a hack within the contest, and it's a perfect kick for the opposition team to take an intercept mark and rebound the footy. So with that, you're not an outside player, and your inside work isn't getting any return. So that's why Fly made that decision on the weekend that we can't keep you on if what we need you there for, you're not doing well enough with the disposal. So 1 out of 10, man. 1 out of 10. It's unfortunate. Finn is done. I've lost patience. He's no good. Back to the VFL. I just wonder, what the conversations are internally, because you have to imagine that his composure within the contest would be a massive conversation. Is there a motive for him when he's at VFL? Is there a nudge from the coach to, hey, Finn, when you get the ball in the contest in the VFL, I want you to break out of the contest, get your 2-3 meters clear out of that contest, and then dispose of the ball at all costs. We don't care if you try and do that and you get caught for holding the ball. We need you to add this element to your game. Otherwise, you cannot play AFL footy for any club. So 1 out of 10. And everyone, Trade Bait says Jimbo. I don't know, what. you'd be lucky to get a third round pick out of Finlay McRae right now, to be fair.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next one. I've got Norm. Mr. Norm Smith. Took that screamer. Got mark of the year or not, brother? Compared to Jamie Elliott.
It was a beauty. I reckon, yeah. I just what it meant for the game as well. I think it was unreal. It was real good, wasn't it?
And in a game where it was a tale of two halves for the Collingwood side, for Bobby, it was a 4-quarter performance, wasn't it?
Yeah.
10 disposals, 9 kicks, 3 inside 50s, 5 shots, 5 goals. So back to his accurate self. He hasn't been super accurate this year relative to last year. That's a different story now. 8 score involvements and 0 goal assist. And I like the 0 goal assist this time because it means he put the responsibility on his back to kick goals. And he took a contested mark against fucking Tristan Sherry, I think, late in the game. Like, literally, put some body work into him and took a mark on him, which was incredible. Bobby Hill, sir, big moments. Bobby Dazzler, taking on players, kicking goals, keeping us in the contest, stayed engaged, 9.5.
Boom. Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree. Could not agree more. He had an excellent game, and even his like dazzle on the ring, on the wing, right along the boundary, that ended up like he ended up kicking the ball towards Nick Dacos and he ended up getting that free kick. Like just like the games in like we're down, you know, and he's still showing that spark that we know to love. Like that is great footy. I love to see it. So yeah, 9.5. I'll agree with that. 5 goals.
Yeah. I think everybody's pretty happy with that. 10. Bobby will fine for airspace violations. He needs a parking spot. I think he shows skill but lacks confidence. I think it'd be good. Oh, that's Finlay McRae. 9 out of 10. 10 out of 10. 9. Nothing. He did wrong. He did nothing wrong, correct? Bobby the gymnast. Compared him to Toby Green. David King compared him to Toby Green. Yeah, because Bobby has aerial capacity. Maybe just a little bit lesser of a player compared to Toby Green, slightly lesser. If he can keep this up, we can revisit this conversation in a few weeks. 9 out of 9.5. Second big mark was better for mine.
That was good. I did like the way he came back with the flight and just took that grab. That was elite as well.
Yeah, that was brave, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, brave as shit. Big balls. I'm surprised he can jump up that high off the ground with Big Nuts going back with the flight of that. So.
Some heavy balls, man. Some heavy balls. Yeah. I get any bets with him. Bobby 9. Sherry's a diver. Jamie's mark for me. Just. Fair enough. Great pickup. He rose so high, he marked it in front of his face. Okay. Now, moving on to next. So we've got a 9.5. So that is, guys, officially the highest rating we've given a player in the pie performance thus far. This is our third show, brother?
Yeah. What did we give Dacos? Was it like a 9.2 or 9.3 or something?
What? A couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Me no remember, brother. You know me, yeah, bad memory, my friend.
Yeah, we got dementia.
Early onset, man. Okay. Next up, for you, brother, is Dacos in the sorts of the Josh kind. Yeah,
well, Josh Dacos had a pretty good game. 20 disposals, 6 of those contested, 4 clearances, and what we like from him is his ability to get the ball, and then he creates a lot of inside 50s. So he had 7 inside 50s on the weekend, which was quite good to see. His performance was what we've come to expect to him, and I think it was an above average performance. So I wouldn't give him a 6, but I reckon I've got him for. I do have him down as a 7, but I reckon. No, I'm gonna stick with a 7. I don't know. There's a little bit of me that wants me to just
You're just a
downgrade.
softie, man. You're just a softie, brother. You love.
I know.
Him.
I was gonna bring him down to a 6.5. I think I might give him down to a 6.5 because we have come to see him have bigger impact games, but I did think it was slightly above a normal game. So I'm going 6.5, champ.
Yeah, 6.5 sounds fair.
Yeah,
I'm just revisiting his stats: 20 disposals, 4 ground ball gets 7 inside 50s, which is cool. No goal assists though. 4 clearances. Again, just remembering the game, I don't recall a whole lot. 4 score involvements. I think 6.5. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm actually starting to notice, because I've had Josh Dacos a fair bit recently in the Pie performance, and he racks them up touches wise, but sometimes you don't really notice the impact he has. Like last week, he got 30, and I was like, oh wow, I didn't realize he had 30 touches. You know what I mean? So sometimes he does have that tender role, but yeah, he's still elite. Like you'd love to have him. So yeah, I think 6.5, slightly above average for the day.
Yeah. Hey guys, what's up? I'm hoping not too late. Never too late, my friend. Welcome. Thanks for joining us again, Ultimate Greatness. Dwayne Russell. Bobby moved left, Bobby moved right, ran straight. He was going so fast that not even his shadow could keep up with him. Great call. Dwayne Russell. 7, 5, 6, 6.5, 7. We tend to forget Josh was not a highly rated junior like Nick. Very true. He was taken in maybe late in the second round or the third, Josh Dacos, as a father-son, obviously, which was interesting and really didn't reach the heights of where he is today until Nick Dacos came in. And it's funny how sometimes when your younger brother, who is an up-and-coming superstar, walks into your environment, naturally, I think there's an element in you that says, "Nah, I'm the big brother, and I'm gonna show you that I can play the way I'm playing right now." And because he was a fringe player initially, then he was sort of just in our bottom 6, and then 2021, 2020 a little bit, he was showing signs, and now he's an All-Australian caliber player, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly right. He really owns that wing.
Yeah. It's difficult when both halves play at different standards. Yeah, 6.5 seems fair. So, okay. Cool. Moving on, brother. I've got the luxury of rating the best small forwards in the game. And next one is Lockie Schultz. So I appreciate you, brother. I don't know what you were manifesting there, but you gave me it could have gone one way or the other with small forwards. I could have had a shit show with the small forwards if they played poorly, but they had this game. So shoot up. Before I get into the conversation revolving around Lockie Schultz, the pass mark that we gave these fellas, being Bobby Hill and Lockie Schultz going into the game, I said 25 disposals and 4 goals was needed for it to be a pass mark, not an above rated performance, a pass mark. And together between sorry, I've just got something pop up on my screen. Together they collected 21 disposals and kicked 9 goals between the two. So absolutely off the Richter scale, their performance collectively. But Lockie Schultz, obviously on an independent level, had 11 disposals. He had 7 score involvements, 5 shots, 4 goals, 1 behind, so extremely accurate. And mate, I said this in the post-game show, I said this in the review. You could put a highlights package together from that game on Lockie Schultz, and you wouldn't need to put a single goal in there because the way he threw himself around the contest, in the air, he didn't question. And we say this about a lot of the players in the game, brother, but he in particular doesn't take a backward step in the contest, even if he is undersized, which he is in most situations. I think somebody in the chat said Lockie Schultz is a mini Myercheck. I love that call. So, Lockie Schultz, What have we given everyone else? I'm going to give Lockie Schultz an 8.5.
I reckon that our small forwards best in the business, right? And like just the pressure players we have, Schultz, Bobby Hill, Bo when he's in the forward line, like these are elite pressure players that can lock the footy in inside 50, and that's why we're third most inside 50 tackles in the AFL at the moment. Like we said, pass mark for those two, I think they impact on the game as well. We were probably saying 4 goals and 25 because we probably thought it was going to be a little bit of an easier game for Collingwood, and it was quite the opposite. And stepped up at a big time. There was time only 3 weeks ago that we were doubting his ability to be able to score in our system, and he's come back and thrown that in the faces, and it had that. He's had a couple big weeks offensively, and did you say 8.5, Champ?
Yeah.
I reckon you're bang on right there. So it's great to see that these guys are firing.
Yeah. And in the post-game presser, when he was interviewed in the change rooms, he said he had an honest conversation with Fly McRae a few weeks ago, and he said after that conversation, what he got out of that was the sense that he belonged in the club within the four walls, and he said that's all he needed. He didn't need anything else beyond feeling like he belonged at the Collingwood Football Club, and it's clearly been reciprocated back onto the field. You can see he's got a bit of cunt in him, brother. He doesn't take his poor performances lightly. He wants to prove people like us wrong at given times, and he's done that and some more. Brother, how about an 8.6? How about an 8.6? Come on. Work with me,
Why
brother.
Why not, brother? Why not?
Let's go, brother. 8.6. Shama. All right. Let me just double check who I've got next for you, brother. All right. I've got Freddy Krueger on the fucking line for you, brother.
Yeah, well, we saw him do a couple of good things on the weekend. Not to the impact that we were going to say. I think we had him as 2 goals as the pass mark. Obviously, the game was a lot harder than we thought, and what he provides us though, even though he had 1 goal, 6 disposals for the game, 1 goal assist as well, and 4 scoring involvement. So it wasn't the worst performance, but I just love the way Kruger attacks the footy. Like he leads with such intent, and he crashes packs. The Specky wasn't too bad either in the dying minutes of the game. What are your thoughts there?
I think that is everything you can ask for, and it's everything you need to suggest that you are, Nathan Kruger, a true key tall forward that can help us in a tough finals series, intensity-like game like that game against North Melbourne.
Yeah, and I thought he competed quite well against Sherry. Sherry had a great game. He challenged Darcy Cameron, and I'll save for my comments for Darcy Cameron when he pops up. But I thought Kruger wasn't too bad, and he competed well. He bodied when he needed to, and to have the composure to take the specky, go back, point some fingers, tell the boys to slow it down. Even though it did result in an intercept mark, but that's probably due to the guys he was kicking to, probably being a little bit too high up when that was going long down the line. But I think it was still a decent performance. I've given him a 6.5, slightly above because of the specky, and I loved his bump that was called back in the first quarter. Could argue a 6 because it was, but I reckon just the intent he leads with the footy and the pace he attacks it. That's why I've given him that extra 0.5, Champ, just to be a little bit above an average pass mark. So, what are you giving him, Champs?
Well, Lily gave me a tea, English breakfast, brother, right on time. I said, half an hour into the show, can you please grace me with your presence and give me an English breakfast tea? Nice, extra hot, brother. So just quickly, I started with a coconut water. Now we're into the tea. But what do I think? I thought, man, like that, those stats are harsh. That read on the stat line for Kruger, because I thought, and we've mentioned this before, man, like we sound like fucking broken records, brother. Everyone's gonna be sick of our voices and our statements at some point. But for now, people still want to stick around and hear us on replay. But I think Kruger just brings so much more than what the stat line can ever present to you. His effort, his ground ball effort, he's faster than we thought he would be.
Yeah, he's
only 24, man.
Yeah.
24 years old, man.
I thought he was 23, man.
24.
Either way.
But for a key tall forward, you don't really hit your straps until you're 26, 27, 28. 29 is a key tall forward, really. And he's really starting to show what he could do. And I think in the preseason, we're saying Ash Johnson, we're saying Reef McInnes, all those slightly different. Kruger's your true, we say crash and bash, but now he's got that aerial capacity, sticking marks, took that specky. He dropped the mark. I think Mick said as well. I've got it here. I mentioned this also. He dropped a mark in the forward half, but as soon as he hit the deck, he didn't give up on it and created a stoppage in our forward 50 from memory, something like that. So that's what you get from Nathan Kruger.
Yeah, he also had that great diving inside 50 tackle as well in the second half as well, which looked like it would hurt. Like I love to see a forward that if the ball starts going the other way, they're going to chase, and it's a key as well. It's not just us small forwards doing it.
Yeah. Oh, can you? Okay, so we settling on a, what do we say, 6.5, brother? I'm happy with the 6.5.
Yep.
All right, brilliant, 6.5. Okay, Freddie. Yeah, so 7, 6, 6.5, 7. Evening, men. Hello, Mr. Japan. How you going?
Konnichiwa.
Hope the warm weather's treating you well. And then, hot take here. I'd give Kruger a 4.5. His effort's fantastic, but he needed to impact more. The fourth quarter miss was at a crucial part of the game. Going off this game, he's in the conversation to be dropped. Goodness. Talk about an unpopular opinion.
Yeah, it's got bang.
Bang. Ultimate greatness. Usually, fucking hell. Go on.
Yeah. Look, he did have 2 behinds for the game, which were kind of gettable. But I still like the way he's attacking and his intent on the footy, and I still reckon he'll go back and, I reckon he'll kick at a high efficiency. I like the way he kicks. He's nice and straight. Don't you reckon he kind of reminds me of Favola, the way he holds the footy, because he's got one hand lower than the other and one hand a little bit higher? Have you noticed that?
Bro, somebody said, I forget who it was, somebody said he looks like Sav Rocker, or his body type looks like Sav Rocker.
You reckon?
I'm not sure. One, I'm not sure if that was about Nathan Kruger, and 2, I don't know. I can't remember who said that. So I'm not going to hold this said person for ransom because I can't quite remember. Guys, am I far off the mark with that? Some of the 90s kids, the 80s kids, am I far off that? Am I right in thinking that? But yeah, at 4.5 is stiff. I don't think he's anywhere near close to being dropped. I really do think, and I watched Kruger in the preseason as well. I actually think Kruger has potential to be a better forward than someone like Brody Mychek once it's all said and done. That's how big my raps are on Nathan Kruger so far.
Well, we'll see, champ. We'll see how he goes with injuries. I would love to see that. Man, you can't understate what Checkers has done for us, though.
No, I'm not.
Done so many good role for us, but yeah, we'll leave that for another conversation. Maybe in the Pies' eyes.
Yeah. Jack Crisp is a Collingwood legend. Someone wanted a shout out. Huey, can you shout out my mate Jezza? He's the biggest Pies fan. Jezza, how you going? I hope your heart's still intact after yesterday's game.
Why do I feel like Hugh might be taking the piss and Jezza hates Collingwood? Because that'd be jokes. But if that's not the case, Jezza, big shout out.
Shout out. Shama.
Next player, champs. Shama.
Harvey Harrison. I think I've got this beautiful, strong man, young man, strong-bodied wingman, right? Probably had a quieter game, yeah. And when you get destroyed in the fashion you do in that first half, your younger players, the tail gets caught between the legs. But 5 kicks, 5 disposals, 5 kicks, 5 handballs, 10 disposals, 90% disposal efficiency. Kicked that really clutch goal in that last quarter, I think it was, brother.
Yep, that's correct.
1 goal assist, 5 score involvements. I want to give him a 6.
Yeah, I think it was an average game. Ultimate greatness, talking
Ooh,
about the
sorry,
grading.
can I add one more thing, brother? Can I just add one more thing regarding Harvey Harrison?
Yep.
He was positioned perfectly for that rush kick out of the 50 from Hoskin Elliott, holding his width as that defensive winger, goal side, defensive side. We say that was a hack kick from Hoskin Elliott and there was no rationale behind it. I beg to differ on both ends regarding Harvey Harrison's positioning.
Champ.
What's going on?
Amazing mark, great positioning. I'll back that. There's no way Hoskin Elliott meant that ball to go there. I reckon he's fucking.
Where else is he going, brother? We're gonna have to watch that back.
I watched that. I actually got to watch that live, and I thought, fuck me, that is just like a perfectly placed kick. I just reckon. I don't know. Like
Freddie, you're getting a timeout.
Camera angle, but I don't know if that was intentional. But Harvey Harrison did position himself very well to take that, to be in front and take that grab there. So good positioning on his behalf.
We'll take that conversation beyond the stream. We'll see if we can try and figure it out. But nevertheless, like you said, very, very strong mark under duress from Harvey Harrison, and saved obviously a potential goal in that moment. So yeah, I'm happy to give Harvey Harrison a 6, brother.
Yeah, was average. Well, wasn't bad, wasn't good, just an average game from him.
Yeah, and really a really silver lining amidst all the injuries we have, along with, I reckon he and Joe Richards, they're going to have a serious 200 games for Collingwood, hopefully.
Yeah, I love what Joe Richards brings to Collingwood. I can't wait for him to get back out there.
Yep. Okay. I've got... Now, I know you said you had some troubles with this man, so tell me, Patrick Lipinski.
Yeah, look, obviously had to rewatch the game today, and I thought he was, like, I was trying to pay attention to him, but I just thought he was quiet. Like, nothing of note to really stand out going into the fourth quarter, but he did do a few all right things. He created a good contest in the fourth quarter, which was a 2-on-1, and he ended up taking the ball. And I think it was a stoppage or the ball just ran out. So that was good. But a lot of his balls use was, just linking handballs on the weekend. And, I think he finished the game with 14 disposals. It was a subpar game from Lipinski, which we've come to know. He did have a good hit in the fourth to Howe, but I still think it was a below par game. I'm going to give him. I have him as a 5 out of 10 champ, 5 out of 10 performance.
Yeah, it's just he was just one of those players that was unsighted, and when you play that wing position as well from time to time, I think he had barely any time in the middle. Sometimes you look back at the game and you go, fuck, he just sort of just dawdled along. But he's had a great year. And he's gonna cause some problems in the top 5 for the Copeland Trophy at the end of the year. But just a 5, I think, for Patrick Lipinski this time round. Did everybody else, I think, sort of shares that view. 5.5 for the male model. Played an average game, played an average also game, Lipper 5.5. So I think, like, we say 5 and it sounds not great, but really it's just sometimes the game avoids you and sometimes you can't find the pill. And that's a large part of the wing. Sometimes you're just on the wrong wing, brother.
Exactly right.
Sometimes you make the case if you're playing wing, you go, the ball was never on my side. That's it.
Exactly right. The way that I see the grading as well, I know Ultimate Greatness asked before, but like 60% is like your pass mark, is like an average game. Kind of think about it like, when you get your uni or high school results, and then like a 5 is a below subpar performance where we come to know the player as well. So we also try to factor in like what we expect from a player. And that's what I go into rating the players there. So look, a 5 from him, a little bit subpar. But I'm sure he'll bounce back in 2 weeks' time against Gold Coast in Gold Coast.
Where we break their fortress record, yeah?
Bloody oath.
So, my next player, brother, let me pop him up. Fan favorite at the moment, and usually for the longest part of it as well. He's quite adored by our Collingwood faithful. Brother, look at that tricep, man. Oscar Elliott.
He's got the horseshoe, man. He's got the horseshoe, but the face is
It's a bit frank.
bit frank, man. You bit franked him, but that's all right.
Looks like he's trying to squeeze one out, huh?
Come on, man. Give us what's the analysis?
Stop fucking around. Austin Elliott's been fucking unreal. He's been unreal, and yesterday was like the cherry on top for his last 2 or 3 weeks. If you want to throw in the Port Adelaide game from a 6 odd weeks ago as well, he's another player who's a little bit on the older side of things now, and he's stepped up from a leadership capacity, but he's leading by way of the impact he's having on the field. 16 disposals, 9 contested possessions, 7 ground ball gets, 6 score involvements. He had the goal. He had a contested mark. I think he had one strong mark. Yeah. I think he's really stepped up as of late, and he's missed the fix it, and he's added to his repertoire to lead in games when experienced players like Scott Pendlebury is not available, Tom Mitchell, Jordan De Goey, Jamie Elliott. For that reason, I'm going to give the hyphen I'm going to give him a 7.2.
If I was rating the game, I would have given him a 7. So a 7.2. I'm not going to die on a hill for the 0.2. So yeah, 7.2 for the man.
All right.
Mr. Horseshoe.
Hoskinelli, he'll die on the shoulders of the opposition, though, brother, huh?
Huh?
Let's see here. What have we got in the chat? What are they suggesting? The hyphen, big last quarter, elite again, long distance run. Yeah, they do go under the radar. 7 for Host. Love that dance around centre half back leading to the goal. Yes, very much so. Very nice. Composure. 7.5, 7.5. He can do it all. Hoskin was amazing. Give him an 8.5 to 9. We must be working on different rating systems, Ultimate Greatness. It's all right. You'll warm up to this. You'll warm up to this. It's okay. Yeah. And hey, if you think he had a 9, then that's fair enough. Like, he had a good game, but I think we get a bit too excited sometimes. Caleb and I, we've been victims of that in the last couple of weeks. Now we've learned to temper our judgments and sort of just take the biases off and try and assess it objectively as much as possible. He does play a lot taller. He loves shitting on shoulders. I hated him for years, but credit must be given. 8 Fosker. I think he was pick number 2 in his draft year. So I don't know. Yeah, he's consistent. He's played, how many games has he played here, brother? Let me see. He's played 215 games. So I guess that warrants, like, I think if you can play 215 games, then pick 2 is probably worth it in the end. Did he get? Let's see here.
Number 4. Did a little fact check. Number 4, he was drafted at 2 GWS.
Number 4?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Brilliant. Moving on, brother. Let me see who I've got for you next. Brother, I don't know. You've done me dirty on this one. You know what I felt like you've done, brother? We bought the mixed lollies pack, yeah? And you've taken all the purple and red ones out, brother.
Yeah.
And you've left me the oranges and yellows because you've taken both the Dacos brothers.
Hey, when I get to slice it, I you can't complain. But look,
the dinosaur, Daddy.
The party mix. Let me just put that one you described, that lolly is definitely not the best out of the party mix, by the way.
What, the purple and red ones?
No. I like the red raspberry drops. Are they in the part? Are they in the
Brother, all
party
I'm
mix
saying
as well?
is, if it's not purple or red, I don't care if it's a fucking dinosaur, a red banana. I don't care if it's a red Caleb. I just want red and purple. But you giving me green and yellows. You're giving me no day costers, brother.
All right. Anyway, enough of that bullshit. All right, let's jump into the man. All right. So, where do we start? Well, it was kind of a tale of two halves for Nick Dacos. Even though he still had a pretty all right first half, he really flourished in that second half and really made it his own. Going into halftime, he only had 11 disposals, and he ended up finishing the game with 29 disposals. And it's hard to argue he's not his own ball getter. You know, he had the 18 contested clearances, 18 contested, and he had 6 clearances for the day. He also had 2 goals, 3 assists, and 10 scoring involvements, which is a monster performance. What was Alistair Clarkson thinking, subbing off Will Phillips, who was doing an outstanding job on him? That is, yeah, that's a mystery. Like, I know he got asked in the post game that he wanted someone fresh on the field, and he picked Phillips because he looked tired. But if some, like, he had his number, but for the fortunate for the Collingwood side and the faithfulness that he ended up performing very, very well in that second half. 2 goals in the third. Ended up getting 10 disposals in the fourth quarter. The way his runs and his movements is, I know it gets stated on Fox Footy and stuff like that, but his running patterns, champs, are effed. Like, his work rate is elite. He's also, his slider kick to Howe, which he ended up kicking that goal, was elite, was unreal. I've given him, I did have him down as an 8.5. I'm happy to creep that up just based off a couple of the high scores we did have today, with, you know, Bobby Hill getting a 9.5. I'm happy to boost him up to a 9 because of the impact he had around the ground, around the stoppages. Fly put him in half forward to lose the tag. Like, it was just a mastermind in that second half. So I'm going to give him a 9 for the impact that he had for the day.
Yeah. And the fact that he was asked to move to the half forward flank or to sort of navigate around that tag and was still able to have just as much impact as he did in the middle, I think a 9 is totally fair. Totally fair. But that slider kick to Howe going inside 50.
Yeah.
And his patience as well to wait for Jeremy Howe to present the right lead for him was just shows that there was a level of patience in that kick within itself as well. What have we got in the chat? Natural success.
9.5s.
Hosk should be dropped the heart attack he gave me with that kick across goals. Caleb and I are going to revisit that and see what the case is of that, because I feel like
he did not mean that. He just fucking jammed it on his boot, and
I feel like there's
Harvey Harrison just happened to be there. I want to see. Let's watch it back, because I reckon he didn't glance. I reckon he just got it and under pressure just yeeted it across goal.
Brother, we'll check post stream. Where it's the first thing we'll check. 9.5, 9. Next captain easy 9.5, 9. But if he wasn't tagged, would have been a 10. His impact on the side was unreal once Phillips went off. Yeah, 9.
Yeah,
big role, big impact, and one of the big reasons why we won that game. So, Nicky Dacos. All right, who have I got now? Billy Frankton. Let me chuck on his head.
Yeah,
he will be up here. Oh no, because he's forward line. All right, there we go. Mr. Billy Frampton. First half, nothing. He nearly kicked that goal, brother. Nearly kicked that goal. Nearly did not get his 2 goals, unfortunately. So that means you live to fight another day. Don't have to eat any ghost chilies. I thought, brother, there was a time in that game where North were going to win and Billy Frampton was going to kick 2. which means you would have had to double up on those ghost chilies, brother. How are
Yeah,
you feeling about that? Were you nervous?
Well, regarding the ghost chilies, in my mind, it was still only going to be one. But when you said that, I was like, oh fuck, I could be in some trouble because we didn't clarify that, and I might have had to eat two.
We would, brother.
But
we would have deferred to the chat, and you know what the chat would have said, right?
I know they would have bet me over. But look, I said it. I didn't want to see him in the forward line. And what happens after halftime? What? Tell me. What happens?
Well, Fly McRae comes to his senses, puts Billy Frampton back in the back line where he's best utilised because his effort is rewarded there with his spoils, with the occasional intercept mark. He just has to follow a play around. It's a simple job. The forward line being the number one key tool, number two key tool, you need a bit of, I guess you just need to be a bit smarter. You have to have a bit of X factor. You have to have some sort of aerial capacity.
I feel like
You've got to
you're
be able to
insulting me right now.
Hey?
I'm taking this personally as you just rip apart defenders.
Hey, man, put your best players in the forward line, man. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, I think once you put him in the back line, you see we really maximize what we can get out of Billy Frampton in the back line. And stats wise, we're not going to get a whole lot out of the man. Let's see. I've just got it here. I've just lost my notes. Billy Frampton, no intercept marks, 5 disposals, 1 behind. So I'm not even going to refer back to his stats. I'm just going to look at what the eye suggested. As far as his role was concerned in the second half, he played directly on Nick Larkey to try and alleviate the stress that Darcy Moore was encountering with Nick Larkey in the first half. And while Darcy didn't necessarily get loose and was able to take his intercepts, for whatever reason, it was just another important piece to the second half, a piece in that puzzle to ensure that Nick Larkey didn't get off the chain. And I think I'm just going to give Billy a 5. I can't give him anything more, and I don't think I can. 4.5, maybe? Nah, I'm going to give him a 5 for a 5 just because we finally got to see him back in the back line, brother.
Let me just have a quick look at the stats, brother. Let me go quarter by quarter.
He probably had like 5 spoils.
Sorry, boys. Well, let me just check. 5. I don't know, James. I don't think a 5. I'd liked him in the back in the back line. I know he was matching up on Larkey, but I didn't really see that as much. I think North Melbourne kind of fell apart and went into the shell, and that was a lot to do.
No, it's because they saw Billy Frampton on Nick Larkey. You got to factor that in. They saw Big Billy on Nick Larkey.
Hey, James, 4. Give the man a 4.
Let's see what the chat is saying. Hold on.
It was good to see him in the back line again, though. I do back that.
4 out of 5. Man, I love Frampton. Billy 0 for not hitting the chili quota. Totally fair. He went to Larkey. Should have started there. Yep. Frampton not even close to being a natural forward. Correct. 5.5, 4, 4.5. Darcy Moore gifting power forwards goals far too much. Yep, 100%. Agree with Spaniard. 4.5, brother? 4.5, brother?
Let's go. 4.5.
All right, let me rub out my 5 that I had written down, brother. 4.5. Who haven't I done for you, my friend? Can you tell me?
I think I've only got I've got 2 left, I believe. I think I got TJ. No, I got 3. I got TJ, Sully, and Reed left. So you pull up any of those 3.
Okay. Let's give you the debutant. Now, just before you say anything, is
he holding a Sharpie?
Brother, he's about to sign signatures in the what do you call it? The walkway the tunnel.
Yeah.
And the options were limited in a Collingwood AFL jersey. The options were limited, so that's what I was left with.
All right. We'll work on that. We'll work on the image, guys.
Yeah.
But anyway, on to Jaff. So, what did we want from him for the day? Well, we wanted to have a good performance, and we said, an above average pass performance for him prior going into the game in the pre-game show was 2 intercept marks and 10 disposals. Well, he kind of got there. He got 2 intercept marks, read the ball in those plays, not too bad. He did set up a goal assist when he had the ball out of the middle. He kind of pulled the shot. Looked like he was going to go long, pulled it short, and hit maybe Lockie Schultz or someone and then they kicked the goal. So that wasn't too bad. There's a couple of things, and I'll read out the notes that I had from the game. In the second quarter, he's front and center, decides to sprint past front and center and gets side of the contest, and then the ball goes front and center. That was an odd decision, and I noticed that probably because I was just really watching him. So that was an odd decision on why you want to stay front and center in that type of situation. What else do I have? I also have he was a little bit fumbly with his kicks around the ground, champ. Like, I don't know if you noticed, but he would have the ball and go to kick and then stop himself. And I think that's a little bit to do with confidence, maybe first game, a little bit of nerves there. But he did show some signs like the intercept mark, but I just don't think he was an amazing debut performance. And, he was cramping halfway through the third quarter, and that's probably why Fly likes to bring these guys on as a sub. But just a few little things, didn't really get a whole lot of it. Thought his running capacity was reasonable. He didn't look too slow out there. But, champ, I'm going to give him, a sub-par performance. There's a lot of upside there, but I'm going to give him a 5 out of 10. Yeah, 5 out of 10. I think he needs to back himself in, especially all those kicks that he was going to go and stopping himself. He ended up franking like his first disposal because he did that. He wasn't 100% sure. I think he kind of dribbled it towards someone center of the ground. So
in the corridor,
look, I don't think it's all doom and gloom. There was signs of him being able to translate his intercept marks, but I think 5 out of 10. Yeah.
And he had a nice kick going inside 50 to Nathan Kruger, had the enhanced footy fucking style going on. So he looked all right going inside 50. 2 intercept marks, which is good. But I think, 5 out of 10. Somehow Wheeler have given him 100% disposal efficiency despite that kick in the corridor where he turned it over. But yeah, I think he just, relatively speaking, I thought for an AFL debut, he had a good performance considering his role and considering how raw he still is. Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy. I can live with the 5. And I think he only gets better from here as well.
Yeah.
So 5 out of 10. What's everyone else saying, brother?
Like that debut wasn't. Yeah. It was just an average, sub-average performance, but it is a debut game. We'll work on the photo, champ. Hopefully, there's a better photo there.
Bro's signing signatures though. Come on, man. I know it's a Frank picture. TJ 2 out of 10. LA, what a comeback, go Pies. How's your heart, Yanni? We shouldn't analyze Tao's game too much. First one, you got through it well enough. That's probably the overarching theme from Tao's game.
Yeah. And look, like to Luke's performance at 3, I can see how people can be quite harsh on him. I think we're just going to give him a little bit of leniency of, thinking about the upside and also, him being his debut game as well. 19 years of age, very young. So, 5 out of 10 this week.
Yeah. Don't worry, we've got DC coming, Steve. Don't worry. We got him. But next up, I've got Jack Crisp. Interestingly enough, just off the bat, brother, no coaches' votes. But in saying that, because the contrast in the games from half 1 to half 2 was so stark, it means players from both teams had profound impacts at certain times within the halves that they dominated. So you look at Tristan Sherry, Luke Davies-Uniacke, George Wardlaw, Will Phillips, these players, they killed the first half. Conversely, on the other end, you got Nick Dacos come alive, Jeremy House switches forward, so on and so forth. But, brother, I thought Jack Crisp, along with Bobby Hill, was one of the fewer players from the Collingwood side to have a four-quarter performance. Looking at his stats, brother, we had 27 disposals, 11 contested possessions, 6 clearances,
Yep.
7 tackles, 8 score involvements. I just don't think he did anything wrong. Whenever he was hot in the contest, I felt like he made the right decision every time. And man, to have 77% disposal efficiency as an on-baller with 10 kicks as well, as a part of those 27 disposals, I think rating-wise, by the way, the goal, don't forget that, and a goal assist. I'm going to have to give Jack Crisp a four-quarter performance. Can you agree with an 8.8, brother?
8.8. What did we give Nick again? We gave him a 9 in the end, right? We gave him an 8.5.
Yeah.
Look, I thought he was really good, and his ground ball gets as well. He got 10 for the game, and he was swooping and picking up the ball quite a fair bit. I did like his performance, and like just passing the eye test, he did a very passed it with flying colours in my eyes. So yeah, let's go with 8 point. Did you say 8.8?
Yeah, 8.8.
Yeah,
8.8.
Let's lock it in, Eddie.
I thought it was unreal, and like I said, I'm surprised he didn't poll a single coach's vote. And for those that wondering, like I said, Luke Davies-Uniacke, 8 coaches' votes. Bobby Hill, 8 coaches' votes. Nick Dacos, 7. George Wardlaw, 5. Jeremy Howe, 1. Tristan Sherry, 1. So tough, but it is what it is. The coaches know better than us, so we'll leave it to the coaches, right, champ?
Yeah, leave it to the coaches, man.
Leave it to the coaches, man. 72. And let's give you McGuinness.
Yeah, Reef. Okay, well, where do we start? So Reef comes in after Finlay gets subbed at halftime, and I think it was the right decision in the end. I thought, he comes on, makes an immediate impact of the game, right? Ball comes in, gets that high tackle against him, goes back, slots the goal. Hey, what's that? The Collingwood train has just left the building. The comeback's on, boys. We're on, right? Started from that moment, all right? All the fucking board, all you guys, I would love to see the heart rate monitor of all the boys who watched, and girls who watched the game. But I reckon that's where that moment, the game started to change, especially after halftime. What else did I like from him? Well, I liked, his intent on the ball, and the way he was leading up the ground was quite good. He looked very quick. I also like that he could come on and, he's fighting for a position and he's quick with his decision-making, something that, I'll touch on with Sully in a second, but I thought Sully's decision-making was a little bit too slow. Reef McInnes comes on as a sub, gets the ball on the wing, looks inbound and hits the target straight away, and he backs himself in, right? And then it opens up the game and the ball goes inside 50 after that. If you look at the stat line for him, let me pull it up really quickly, champs. I don't think it was jumping out of the spreadsheet. Look, 3 disposals, 1 mark. I actually thought he got another mark than just the one, but I still thought he did a good job. I just liked the way he attacked on the ball, came back, slotted the goal. I have him as a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I think that's fair. With the limited time he had on the field, I think he played an important role in getting us back into the game. His speed inside 50, kicked that goal, and I think he's begging, with that performance, he's begging for a start against Gold Coast. Begging.
And when he starts, champ, for the year, he's averaging 1.9 goals. All right, the average probably would have
beat me to the jump then.
Yeah, it would have dropped before, after this game, but still 1.9 goals prior to this game does a lot when he's on for us. And yes, you look at it, 3 disposals, but it's just what he does around the ground, I can't get enough of. And yeah, I think it's a 6 out of 10 with the performance he had. He only had 42% time on ground as well, to keep that in mind.
Yeah. Love Reef and how joking around when we're 8 goals down. Yeah, and I think that was more so Reef McInnes getting his tail up after kicked the goal, probably having a laugh with Jeremy Howe. And you need to see that. Just because it spells out that they're not collapsing, they're not feeling the pressure, they're not crumbling. So that's a good sign in the game. 1.9 goals is including the games he's been sub as well. Thanks, Matt. That's a great point to mention as well. So surely that warrants an opportunity to start.
Yeah.
All right, Steve, we promised you we hadn't forgotten about him. So now let's talk about DC. It would be remiss of me not to mention that he is the best marking ruckman in the league. And just to point out to that furthermore, this game, 4 intercept marks, 3 contested marks. 4 intercept marks is elite for a key tall defender. And he's doing that in the ruck stocks. Taking contested grabs, 16 disposals, worked hard around the ground. Had a great kick going inside 50 to Lockie Schultz to the boundary, I think it was. He timed that really well. Let me just double check who it was, just so, because I want people to recall this. It was, DC finds Bobby in the pocket for his first goal. It was the first goal of the game. And that was an intentional kick as he was waiting for Bobby Hill to make that lead into the boundary. And yeah, Darcy's just showing us that he's just getting better every week. And sure, Sherry had his dominance in the centre-bound stoppages, but around the grounds, when you factor that in, DC won the hit-out count 35-30. He took a really, really brave intercept mark that launched us a really good defensive half transition from memory. Didn't do much wrong in my eyes, brother. I want to give Darcy Cameron an 8.1.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought if it wasn't evident enough, and if you weren't really paying attention, it was hard to see how dominant he was in his intercept mark ability and just his marking around the ground. And you know what? He moves the ball all right for a big man as well. Even though he did have that turnover when he did the fake handball, and the umpire caught him on and he had to kick it on his left foot. Besides that turnover, he was actually reasonably well around the ground. I didn't know when he was against Sherry, a lot of the times he lost, I actually thought Sherry had the better of him until I looked back and looked at the disposal, the hit out. It was 35-30. But I felt like he did lose a lot when he didn't engage first in contact. So if Darcy Cameron engaged first in contact in the ruck, then he would win the hit out. If Sherry engaged first, he won the hit out. So if I'm Darcy Cameron and I'm trying to notice trends in the game, I'm trying to make contact first every time because I'm bodying him out of the way. And yeah, that was my only thing. And I did think Sherry had his number, but I looked back at the stats, obviously not the case. But that was my only gripe there. But like I said, he had an unreal game, and it's hard to to argue against that he's not the best intercept to mark ruckman in the game, and his ability to actually not take the mark, be on the mark, and get back and sit in the hole and take those marks are really understated and very vital for us to hold on the weekend.
Yeah, and I
so
feel
I'm giving him oh yep.
What are you saying, Champ?
I said I'm giving him an 8 out of 10.
So you don't want the 8.1, huh? Yeah, we have to.
8.1. Sorry, I thought you said 8.5, Champs. So 8.1.
No.
Lock it in.
Yeah. And I just wanted to finish with DC, the fact that he sticks to his strengths and he does his best to break even everywhere else. Tristan Sherry, a great clearance player. DC had 3. Tristan Sherry had 4. We know Tristan Sherry, a great pressure ruckman, probably the best in the league, 6 tackles to 1. So take that as you will. I think DC won his strengths, stuck to his strengths, and Tristan Sherry had his own successes as well. So 8.1. Okay, cool. Yeah. Brilliant. And then, brother, your last player, Sully.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if the image is up, Champs. There it is. But fuck, in that first half, he really bugged me. I wanted to see some outside ability from him after the game yesterday. I don't think he has that ability to play an outside. I think he'll just be a pure inside player. I don't think he's got the ability to burst out of a pack, and he lacks some explosive speed. He got caught holding the ball 2-3 times in that first half. And I was messaging you and I was messaging your brother, and I was saying some bad things. I was very annoyed, to say the least. That being said, I didn't break his TV like your brother did, who smashed a remote. So if anyone, Manny, you haven't been in the comments in a while, but
where's Manny?
Yeah, he did. He did. Your brother did smash his TV. Maybe some of that was to do with Sully, but he did have an all right fourth quarter. So I've bumped him up. I thought, he positioned himself well in the center of the ground. IQ kicked in the ball. Still getting a lot of handballs. He got 14 disposals for the day. 6 of those contested. 9 of those were the handballs, to kind of highlight how he plays his game. He's an inside mid. And he also was crucial to that Nick Dacos goal assist in the middle. I think he gave him the hands, which kind of linked up the whole play. So originally, if I was basing on the first half, Cham, I would have given him a 1 or 2. Like I was fuming, but I thought he did do some good things towards the end, and I've got him down as a 5 out of 10, just because the last part we ended up getting the win. He ended up doing some good things, but I don't know if I was just being a little bit too hot-headed, and I didn't watch back the first quarter today. I skipped it. I only went from where I left. So maybe if I watched the full flow of the game and I didn't know the outcome, I could maybe still be a little bit harsher on him, but I've got him down as a 5 out of 10.
Yeah. I think he's everything that a mid-season rookie is for the most part, and for better and for worse. For worse in the sense that it's probably the reason why they're probably not playing AFL is they're probably a little bit behind the speed of the game from decision-making standpoint, which we saw that was evident in the game in the first half. Does he adjust and adapt to that? Yet to be seen. The positive of having a mid-season, not a mid-season draft, a pre-season supplementary player in Lachie Sullivan, the benefit of that is his mature age is 26, and he showed great resilience as a 26-year-old going into that second half, right? If you have a 19-year-old in place in lieu of Lachie Sullivan, and they have a first half like Lachie did, there's a fair chance they're not going to bounce back as immediately as someone like Lachie Sullivan did. And like I said, he had good link-ups in the second half. A good sense of resilience was seen. It was present in his game. A 5 is completely fair. Does it warrant a spot for him post-bye? Yet to be seen. Probably not. No. Tom Mitchell, if he's available. But like I said, Tom Mitchell's still not available, so we'll see. A 5, I can 5. A 5. All right, I'll accept the 5. I'll give 4. I've watched the second half about 6 times, so my rankings are recency biased. Pivotal, making space for Nick D. So Mick's crunching the numbers for us, and he's having a second glance at the game as well, which is good. But I mean, if you're not watching this game 5 times over by the time this week's done, especially on a bye week, then something's wrong with you.
All I gotta say is we're lucky we didn't do a watch along, because mate, some of the shit that was coming out of my mouth was shouldn't be repeated. And
we have to bring a muzzle, brother.
Got caught holding the ball. I was ready. I was saying pack him back, go to local footy. You know what I mean? But look, he did do a job in the fourth quarter, and that's why we bumped him back up to a 5.
All right, guys. Last one, and then we're going to do the People's Chant voting. So make sure you stick around, because we're going to do the voting system, and we need to update our tally. So stick around, because we need you guys for the voting for that. I was going to kill myself at halftime. Not gonna lie.
I was just laughing on that.
I think I messaged someone. I think I messaged one of the group chats. I think my Super Coach group chat. I said, can somebody please redirect me to where to the Westgate Bridge? So I'll leave it at that. But Bo McCreary
Oh fuck.
We know the story of Bo McCreary, brother. We're asking for him to impact the stat sheet a little bit more, but I feel like this assignment that he had in the second half, I guess he gets a waiver, not a waiver, but like a whole, not even a whole pass. I can't even think of the term, but his assignment, he had one job in the second half, and that was to quell the impact that Luke Davies-Uniacke was having in the game. Brother, Luke Davies-Uniacke had 31 disposals for the game. Bo McCreary finds himself in the midfield in the second half, keeps him to 10 disposals. Man was at 21 disposals at halftime, right? So it just goes to show, you asked Bo to do a job in the midfield, a defensive-based midfield role, 7 tackles, 31 pressure acts. Is that the most for the game? I'd be surprised if it wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
The most by 5. The most by 5. So, yeah, 10 disposals, 4 contested possessions. But fuck those stats. I'm not interested in those stats, man.
Got a snag as well, champ.
Did he? When was that?
I just remember him just coming around and snapping the ball.
Anyways, yeah, okay, goal. I'm going to give him... He passed. So if he passed, based on the assignment that was given to him, that was delegated, I have to give him a 6, bro. I don't care about that stat sheet, brother. Couldn't give a fuck. Couldn't give a fuck.
You don't think the impact on LDU doesn't grant him a little bit of above average pass mark?
Ooh.
I would argue maybe a 6.5. Because LDU was having a great game and he was able to come in and kind of slow him down and do a job on him.
Chat, give us a hand. Give us a hand. What are we saying? There's a few conflicts in there. 6.3, 8, 6. All right, what about a 6.2.5? And then we can move into the People's Champ.
Yeah,
you're not happy with that.
Let's try the 6.5 champ and we'll move it on.
Oh, 8. Okay, all right. 6.5 then. All right.
It was 2
I
8s.
thought you were going to come at me and say that was too high, the 6, but okay. You were happy with the assignment and the way he passed the test, huh?
Look, I don't mind. I love the tag. I love if you give someone an assignment, hey, you're going to be tagging this player, and that's your assignment, then I'm happy for Bo to be low on his disposals because he's coming in and impacting the other game. I think Will Phillips was actually really good, maybe one of the best players on the ground just because of the impact he had on Nick Dacos and was able to come forward and sneak a goal as well.
Yeah.
So you get what you're given during the assignment, and this was his role today. Unlike the game when he had against the Bulldogs where he was third most midfielder, only got the 8 disposals and was running at 33% disposal efficiency rate, then that's when I get kind of like he should be bumped down, even though he's doing great defensive things. But if this is an assignment, then I'm happy with that, and it grants an above average mark.
Yeah, we don't win the game without Bo locking down LDU in the second half and keeping him to just the 10 disposals, considering LDU was running a mark and had 21 disposals. And was untouchable in the first half. Couldn't tackle him, and his kicks going inside 50 were killing us.
Yeah. I think Mick raises a good point. Maybe put him on Real next game. So
yeah, we'll probably see that. We'll probably see that, won't we?
Exactly
machine,
right.
7.5. 6.5 might be unders, brother, but I think we're gonna have to move past it.
You live and die by the sword. Now let's go to the People's Champs Award.
All right, guys. So as shown at the start of the stream, this is the current tally. And for those who are tuning in late, the People's Champ is voted by you guys. Give us a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just hold your horses. Essentially, it's a 5 for the best player, a 4 for the fourth best. 5 votes for the best, 4 for the second best, and so on and so forth. But we'll do it one by one. So, for example, we'll say, Caleb, tell us who your best player was, and that best player will get 5 votes. Name that player. And whoever gets the most, it's a majority of rules in the chat, will assign those 5 votes to the player. As you can see, after the Melbourne Demons game, that is how the tally stands with Jack Crisp at number 1 with 8 votes, Dacos 5, Bruzzy 4, DC 4, Jeremy Howe 3. So without further ado, who gets the 5 votes, chat? Tell us. All right. Crisp 1. Bobby. So it's just 5 votes, ultimate greatness, yeah? So 5 votes is best player, not 10. So I'll write down Bobby Hill as well.
Got another one for Bobby.
Oh,
2
yeah.
Bobby, 3 Bobby, 1 Nick Dacos.
Yep.
Another Bobby, 1 Nick Dacos.
Yep.
We do have a Jack Crisp if you haven't written that down, champs.
Yep. Keep them coming, guys. Keep them coming. It's Bobby
Keep them
Hill
coming.
for
Carl goes Dakes. That's another one, champ.
Yep. Yeah, we've already done that one.
Yep.
Greatness.
We already
All
did
good.
all the greatest.
Mick says Dakes. So we're tied, brother. We got 4 and 4 for Nick Dacos and Bobby Hill. Can we get someone to split the difference in the chat?
Richard White goes bang from outside 50, goes Bobby.
Ooh. All right, it's Bobby.
It's Bobby. Lock it in. 5
It's
votes.
Bobby. So, brother, just on that basis, right, should we automatically assign Nick Dacos to the 4 votes, given he had 4 votes he had 4 people voted for him to be, or 5 now, no, 4 to have him as the best?
I feel like that does make sense, but do you want to? I feel like he was going to be number 4 regardless, but maybe for consistency, we'll just do it again. What do you reckon?
All right.
Or are you happy to just?
We'll see what everyone says. So, guys, 4 votes. 4 votes.
Yeah.
Who gets the 4 votes?
Yeah. If you've already voted for him for 5 votes, you want to just say those votes still are valid?
Nick.
Maybe that can
Nick
be some feedback on the guys.
Nick Clear.
Yeah.
ND, Nick Dacos, and best was Bobby Hill. This is where it gets interesting, brother. All right, guys. 3 votes. Who gets the 3 votes? Leo Ear, it says 4 for Coxie. Funny.
Yeah, I was just laughing at that.
Funny code. All right, 3 votes. Starting from now, who gets the 3 votes?
Yeah. Schultz.
Shooter.
Yeah. South Ninja, pick 1. Schultz, shooter or DC, or we're getting a lot of shooters.
Fuck, it's Shooter Clear. Oh my god.
Jeez.
All right. Yep. So Lockie Schultz. All right, moving on to 2 votes. 2 votes, guys. Moving on. So we got Bobby Hill, Nick Dacos, Lockie Schultz. Who gets the 2 votes? DC 1. Brazzy.
Brazzy's got a vote. Jack Crisp has 2 votes.
Yep. Oh, Jack Crisp. Jack Crisp has just gone bang.
Gone 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 votes for him now.
Yep.
5 votes. I think he's going to take the 2 spot.
All right. Jack Crisp gets the 2. And who gets the solitary?
Who gets the 1 vote? I'm seeing a few of the Bruz. Zaya goes Bruzzy.
Yep.
What? I'm going to vote for DC.
DC.
2 votes for DC.
Yep.
3 votes for DC.
Yep.
1 vote for Bruz. Another 2 votes for DC.
It's DC or us.
DC looks like he's
yeah.
We got another vote for Bruzzy. I think DC's
right,
oh no. Jesus, it's gone. It's all happening.
Yeah, I reckon we're locking DC for that one, brother. What do you reckon?
It pains me because it was 200th, but I think DC. Yeah. Innocent marking ability.
So who missed? Elite. So Jeremy Howe missed with an 8.1. Still Sidebottom missed with an 8.3. Despite
no one voted for Steely.
No Steel Sidebottom. No Jeremy Howe. Some notable admissions. omissions. Jeremy Howe got a coach's vote, by the way.
Yeah.
JC is Jack Crisp. But yeah, outside of that, those were the notable omissions for the People's Champ. So, guys, just to recap that, Bobby Hill 5, Nick Dacos 4, Lockie Schultz 3, Jack Crisp 2, and Darcy Cameron 1.
Nice.
I'm a little bit disappointed that we didn't see a still side bottom or a Jeremy Howe in it, but it was tough. There was so many players there that played so well.
Yeah, they lifted in the second half to the to what we needed to come back.
Everyone forgot Sardi, brother. We did him too early. That's why.
Yeah.
I forgot to steal. My bad. Jimbo goes fucking Sardi. Oops. Yeah. Hey,
right.
what's done is done. We can't go back in time, brother. Can we?
No, we can't. All right. Well, is there anything you want to wrap up or give a quick shout out before we wrap this show up?
If you haven't watched the mini documentary that I posted today regarding Collingwood's 1990 premiership, go have a watch. Let me know what you think. Outside of that, brother, we have a podcast with True Footy / True Eagle. We'll be shooting that tomorrow night, so we'll post that Wednesday at some point. So that will be good fun. True Footy is a full-time AFL YouTuber and a diehard Eagles fan from Perth. But yeah, as far as shows, brother, I don't think I've told you, but I think next Sunday or this Sunday or Monday, we'll probably do a mid-season ratings, a mid-season pie performers. So we'll rate every player's season thus far. Hit the like button, as Jimbo says, that's always important.
Yeah, we're pretty slack on that, aren't we? But yeah, make sure you guys like, subscribe if you I feel like a wanker doing that, but if you like the content, give us a like. If you like the way we're voting at the end, if you guys think there's a better way, maybe give us a heads. Maybe do we do a vote or a poll on
it's
the
hard
community?
to do. I don't think there's any there's no features that YouTube offer yet to do a poll through StreamYard. Well, I'm sure something will come into vogue at some point.
Like, do we do it prior to the show in the community post where you can vote, and we'll just have a bunch of players and then people can vote. Then we can read out who's the people champ, and maybe we can have some updated graphics going.
Easy, bro. Easy. That's so much. That's so much smarter. Sometimes I'm smart. Sometimes what does the coach say in that post game? Sometimes good, sometimes maybe the shit.
Yeah, sometimes very good, sometimes very shit. Yeah, we can open that up as well.
As well, brother.
Yeah, my StreamYard is completely frozen. So before it freezes again, champ, we'll sign off.
All right, see you guys.